The Mary Celeste mystery. In December 1872, a ship was found sailing alone in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. No captain, no crew, no passengers, just a ghost ship, moving through the waves, silent, empty, as if everyone on board had simply vanished into thin air. The breakfast table was still set, the captain's pocket watch was still ticking, the cargo was untouched, and the ship was in perfect condition. 10 people disappeared from the Mary Celeste. Not one of them was ever found. The Mary Celeste was an American merchant ship, built in 1861, a solid, experienced vessel that had crossed the Atlantic many times before. In November 1872, she left New York Harbor carrying 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, heading for Genoa, Italy. On board were 10 souls. Captain Benjamin Briggs, 37 years old, experienced, respected, a deeply religious man who didn't drink and ran a tight, disciplined ship. His wife, Sarah. She had chosen to join him on this voyage. Their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, and 7 experienced crewmen. The weather was clear, the ship was loaded, the crew was ready. Captain Briggs wrote in his journal that evening, and I want you to remember this, he wrote that he was pleased with the ship, pleased with the crew, and looking forward to a smooth crossing. It was the last entry he ever wrote. On December 4th, 1872, just 3 weeks after leaving New York, a British ship called the Dei Gratia spotted something strange on the horizon. A ship moving slowly, erratically. The captain of the Dei Gratia, David Morehouse, recognized her immediately. It was the Mary Celeste. He knew Captain Briggs personally. They had dined together just days before both ships left New York. He signaled the Mary Celeste. No response. He sent 3 of his crew over in a small boat to investigate. What they found made them stop cold. The ship was sailing herself. Sails partially set, moving through the Atlantic on her own. They climbed aboard. The deck, empty. The helm, unmanned. They went below. The captain's cabin, his pocket watch, still running. His wife's jewelry, untouched. Their personal belongings, all in place. A small bottle of medicine, open as if someone had just used it. In the crew's quarters, beds made, clothes folded, personal items, pipes, boots, coats, all left behind. On the table in the main cabin, a half-eaten meal, as if everyone had simply stood up mid-breakfast and walked away. The cargo of 1,700 barrels, nearly untouched. 9 barrels were later found to be empty, but the rest were perfectly sealed. The ship's 1 lifeboat, missing. The navigation equipment, missing. The ship's papers, missing, except for the captain's logbook. And the last entry in that logbook was dated November 25th, 9 days before the ship was found. For 9 days, the Mary Celeste had been sailing herself across the Atlantic, with no one aboard. Here is what made investigators truly lose their minds. There were no signs of struggle, no blood, no damage to the ship, no evidence of fire, explosion, or storm damage. The pumps were working, the hull was sound, there was plenty of food and fresh water on board, enough for 6 more months at sea. Whatever made 10 people abandon a perfectly good ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? It wasn't the ship. They chose to leave, or something made them leave, and they were never seen again. Investigators, historians, and scientists have proposed many explanations over 150 years. Piracy? Nothing was stolen. The cargo, the valuables, the supplies, all untouched. Pirates don't leave 1,700 barrels of alcohol behind. Mutiny? Captain Briggs was known as a fair, calm commander. His crew had no history of conflict. And if the crew mutinied, where did they go? They disappeared too. A waterspout or freak wave. The ship showed 0 storm damage. The sails were still set. The interior was dry and undisturbed. Alcohol fumes from the cargo. This one is interesting. 9 barrels of the industrial alcohol were found empty. Some scientists believe fumes may have built up in the cargo hold, causing a sudden but non-explosive gas release. The crew, panicked, may have abandoned ship fearing an explosion that never came. They tied the lifeboat to the ship with a rope, planning to wait nearby until the fumes cleared. And then the rope broke. The Mary Celeste drifted away, and the lifeboat with 10 people was lost somewhere in the Atlantic. It's the most logical theory, but it doesn't explain everything. The meal on the table, the medicine bottle, open, the complete lack of any distress signal or written note explaining what was happening, or something came out of the water, something that gave them no time to think, no time to write, no time to take their boots or their coats or their medicine, something that left the ship and everything on it completely untouched, something that took only the people. The Mary Celeste was sailed to Gibraltar by the Dei Gratia crew. A formal investigation was held. The investigating officer, Frederick Solly Flood, was convinced of foul play. He suspected the Dei Gratia crew themselves, believing they had murdered the Mary Celeste's crew for the salvage reward. He found zero evidence. The Dei Gratia crew were cleared. The Mary Celeste was repaired and returned to service. She changed hands 17 times over the next 12 years, as if no owner wanted to keep her for long. In 1885, her final captain intentionally ran her aground on a reef in Haiti, in what appeared to be an insurance fraud scheme. Even her ending was strange. Captain Briggs, his wife Sarah, his 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 crewmen. None were ever found. No bodies, no wreckage, no lifeboat, no trace, as if the Atlantic simply opened up and swallowed them whole. 150 years later, the Mary Celeste remains the most famous maritime mystery in history. The alcohol fumes theory is the most accepted, but it is still just a theory. It has never been proven, and it leaves too many questions unanswered. Why was the medicine bottle open? Why was the meal still on the table, as if interrupted mid-bite? Why did no one leave a single written word explaining what was happening? Even the captain, who wrote in his log every single day. Captain Briggs was a meticulous man, a careful man, a man who documented everything. He had time to write on November 25th. Whatever happened between November 25th and December 4th, he had no time to write about it, or he had no chance. A ship sailing itself across the Atlantic, a breakfast left half-eaten, a captain's watch still ticking, and 10 people who vanished without a single trace, without a single word, without a single clue that has ever fully explained what happened to them. The Mary Celeste still haunts maritime historians today, not because we have no theories, but because every theory falls apart somewhere. Every answer creates a new question. Every explanation leaves something unexplained. The Atlantic knows what happened on those 9 days. It has kept the secret for 150 years. What do you think happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? Tell me in the comments. And if unsolved mysteries that history tried to bury keep you up at night, subscribe, because the ocean has more secrets than just this one.